how would you address the lack of jobs for young people from minority backgrounds, especially people like me who's a young black Muslim Somali young person? It's difficult to get jobs because of, first of all, my postcode, my ethnicity, and of course Islamaphobia. So how would you, what would you do to help me and other young people, and how would you tackle these issues?
Okay, that's an excellent question. Thank you very much. So we have now set the tempo. So please, Sangam, I'm going to ask you to address that question, which I will just capture. How will you address the lack of jobs for BME, disadvantaged and hard-to-reach groups in the city? What are you going to do about it, both locally, regionally and nationally?
Okay, I mean, the first thing, I think, is it's very important for an MP to be a champion for young people, and for an MP to be a champion for equality. So if employers are discriminating, I want to take them on. I want to help support you if that's what's happening individually and collectively. So I'll also be an MP who will monitor what's happening and make sure that I'm informed when employers are discriminating. But there's some specific opportunities. So we need to be encouraging young people to take on technical qualifications as well as academic qualifications. The Labour Party will bring in technical colleges, a technical baccalaureate and apprenticeship, as well as cutting student fees for university students. We want to make sure that people have a real choice at 16, 17 and 18. We'll bring in a youth jobs guarantee, but make sure that every young person has an opportunity for a meaningful job or good training. But I want you to come to me personally as well. I want to be the champion that speaks out on your behalf and speaks alongside you, not instead of you, to help make sure that young people from all backgrounds get the jobs that you deserve, but also the access to the training to get you those jobs.
Thank you. Thank you, Sangam. Darren?
Yeah, a huge issue, not least of all because a phenomenal amount of jobs that were available were in the public sector, and what we've seen is, over the last 5 years, a huge number of those jobs that were available to people from all backgrounds that were in the public sector have been taken away from us. We need to reverse that. We need to recognise that we have a living wage for everybody in order to level the playing field across all of those jobs. We've also got to tackle the fact that an awful lot of people are finding it difficult to move into employment when they're saddled with huge debts from university. And that brings me on to the key point about education, is that unless we give teachers space and time to be able to teach not around just this constant stream of targets and exams, and we give people freedom to explore opportunities, we are not going to tackle the issues that we've got with people from all walks of life to get into employment.
Okay, thank you very much, Karen. Before we move on, I just want to remind people, you do have thumbs. Yeah, so if you like what you hear, then get them up. If you don't, get them down. And also to our prospective candidate, we're asking you to focus on answering the question, what, how, and why. So do please ensure you answer that, otherwise the floor will hold you to account. So, Stephen?
Well, there are actually two questions in that. The last part first about Islamaphobia. As Communities Minister in the current government, I work with a huge range of faith-based charities and organisations around the country, including Talmana, which encourages people to report Islamophobia, and the Muslim Youth Helpline as well. So whenever someone feels they've been discriminated against, the clear message must be always, always, always report it. Don't assume that it will be dealt with if it's not reported. On access to jobs, first thing you have to have for people to get employment is a strong and growing economy, and that's something that has happened in the last few years. It hasn't happened by accident. Unemployment in Bristol is now far lower than it was in 2010, and Bristol is the most prosperous city in the country. But we must make sure that everyone is able to access. If you don't like facts, that's fine. Everyone in Bristol must be able to access that prosperity. That's why the people are premium in schools, in inner city schools in Bristol West, more money behind children on free school meals to make sure they catch up in school, stay on track, is one of the things I'm proud of our time in government.
Thank you. Please, no heckling. No heckling. I've got the mic, I can talk you down, but thank you very much for sharing. Can we move on to Claire, please?
Absolutely. absolutely. Thank you. Just want to echo Stephen Williams. When there is discrimination and Islamophobia, you report it. Please do. We've got to conquer it. And I think we're going a long way, but we've still got a long way to go. For young people, what they really need to start out is a good education. I have teenage children. When I got here in Bristol, I thought, the schools will be fine. The schools were at the bottom of the league table. Absolutely appalling. And I'm going to say that was, I think, under a Labour council. That's got to stop. So we put a lot of money into improving schools. And now, yes, there is, we have created 1,000 jobs every day for the last of this Parliament. And you're not going to like it, but it's true, so I'm sorry about that. But we've also created 2 million apprenticeships, and you know what? If you can get a good education, you'll get a good job. That's all it's about.
Thank you very much, Claire.